Hey everybody, it's JCTheSniper coming to you once again, and this time I've got another blade review. This time I've got the Byrd Cara Cara in G10. Maybe you've seen my previous review of the Byrd Cara Cara Lightweight, which is the FRN handled version. So, I acquired the G10 version a while ago, and I've been carrying it for a while now, and I'm kind of ready to give my opinion on it. So, we'll talk about the pros and cons of these two different models. First of all, blade shape and everything is the same. You can see it has the same handle shape, same thumb hole, same blade shape. So those are identical, and I like it just as much in the G10 version as I did in the FRN. I really like the blade shape. I think it's a good blade shape. Gives us this finger choil down here and some good jimping on top if we want to choke up, and has some nice belly for slicing with, whether that be in slicing cheese or something, or if you need to, make a slicing attack with it in an emergency situation, and a good sharp tip for piercing stuff. So I like the blade shape, and the thumb hole works great on this, as well as on the FRN version. The thumb hole works just as well, obviously, because it's the same. And the handle shape is the same as well, as you can see there. So, very, very similar. One thing that is different that I don't like about it is, well, I'm not going to say I don't like completely, but the clip is different. And one of the differences that they made with this clip is, see how high that clip sits up? It's a very, very tall clip. And the height of the clip is kind of annoying because it pokes out of your pocket real far. So it's a little bit irritating sometimes, because it can catch on stuff. If you look at, I'm gonna fold this down here real quick. If you look at the Cara Cara in FRN, see how that's a fairly low profile clip, and then on the G10 version sticks up a lot higher. So it's a lot easier to catch it on something while it's in your pocket. But it hasn't been a major issue for me. It's just more likely to happen with this clip than this one. Also, the clip is a little bit longer on the G10 version than on the Cara Cara, and a little bit thinner, width-wise. One thing I do like about it, though, is that it's blackened, and I wish this one were blackened, because this doesn't stick out nearly as much with the blackened clip. So I like that. Oh, another thing about the clip is the clip on the FRN version is four-way positionable. Here, 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 or here. The clip on the Cara Cara G10 is positionable, but only left or right. So you can get left or right carry, but you have to do tip up. That's not a problem for me because I like the tip up carry style, but if you're a tip down carrier, you're not going to like it because it just doesn't switch tip up or tip down, just left or right. However, for lefties it works great, so that's a good thing. So philosophy of use is the same for both of these knives, obviously. It's going to be a larger EDC blade or an emergency tactical knife. Size, the blade is still about 4 inches, and the handle's like right at, I don't know, 5-ish, something like that. Weight is one thing that's a big difference from the FRN Cara Cara lightweight version to the Cara Cara G10. And there's a few reasons for that. This knife weighs 3.8 ounces. Very, very light for the size of the blade. This G10 is a 5.6 ounce knife. So it is a beast. This thing is heavy. I mean, it's just heavy. For me, that's not a problem. I know some people really think weight is an issue in their everyday carry knives. I know Nut and Fancy doesn't like to go over 4 ounces, so this would be the knife he would pick, probably. However, I don't have a problem with it. I know personally, I put that in my pocket and I don't ever feel it. I can carry 2 or 3 knives in a pocket and I'm never going to notice the weight. Because, I mean, really, 6 ounces on your pocket, I don't think that's really significant. I mean, if you put a phone in your pocket or a wallet in your pocket, you're going to be at that. So, I don't think it's that bad. One of the reasons for this is you can see those big old beefy steel liners. This has got some heavy steel liners in it. The other reason is the solid stainless steel backspacer in this thing. I mean, that's a solid stainless steel backspacer all the way around. Kind of scooped out a little bit there, but you know, it's a big chunk of steel. You can see from the end here, it's it's pretty wide. So that's a big chunk of steel running down the middle of the knife, which makes it heavier. You probably can't, well, yeah, you can't really see in there because my camera's crappy, but there's a little bit of skeletonizing on those liners, but not much. So basically the difference is this thing has got massive steel liners, and this thing has very slim steel liners. It is steel lined, but they're very slim. A lot thinner than this. So that's why this is so much lighter. Also, this has an FRN backspacer rather than a solid steel backspacer. So that's what makes the difference in these two knives in the weight. And apparently that's about 1.8 ounces worth of metal in this knife. However, I actually like the extra weight. I think it makes this knife feel really good in hand. I just like the extra weight. It feels good, especially for a knife this size, and I don't have a problem with that, because I still think 5.6 ounces is pretty decent, and this knife is really strong. I would say it's probably stronger than this one, just because it's, you know, put together in steel rather than plastic. However, you know, the other one is still strong, so not a big issue, but I do really like the way that feels. Durability is going to be the same. It's going to be excellent because it's, you know, Spyderco has done all the quality control and everything on these, so they'll hold up nicely. I haven't had a problem with them holding up. And this blade, incidentally, I didn't mention this, but this blade came razor sharp out of the box as well. Actually, probably even sharper than this one, and this one was pretty sharp. So this thing is shaven sharp, I'd say. Which I like in a knife. I think every knife should come sharp out of the box. There's a few things that have been changed slightly in these two knives. These screws are flattened and put in flush with the G-10, which is real nice for the fit and finish, whereas these are rounded and poke up a little bit. Also, the pivot point on this knife is a smaller screw than this one. You can see how much bigger that is. So a much bigger screw for the pivot point, which increases the strength of the G10 version. A couple things that you are missing here is this knife actually has some texturing on the back of the spine, which you wouldn't think you'd miss, but it surprisingly does add a bit of traction, and you notice the difference when you go to this smooth thing, because this is not traction at all. Also, the FRN version gave us some traction down here if you were to hold your knife in this manner. And that provides a little bit of extra traction. This one does not have that. So not a big deal, but it isn't there. Still has the lanyard hole, a little bit smaller, but it's still there. Steel lined lanyard hole, because it drills straight through that steel backspacer. So anyway, I picked this knife up for $20. Just over $20, and I think it's an excellent deal for a good quality 4-inch blade. Got that HCR 13 MOV steel still, very strong, G10 handles, and the fit and finish on this knife is excellent, even better than the FRN version. There's just a few things that have been put together better with this G10. So for me, I prefer the G10 version, but if you're looking for a lighter knife, go with the FRN. So, Byrd Cara Cara G10 version. Excellent EDC option. JC the Sniper, signing off.